Greetings, mortals. I am Nates, the ruler of the underworld. The end of the week is here, so it's time to talk about some manga chapters. And we have 8 manga chapters to get through, so let's get started with "'Tis Time for Torture Princess" chapter 245, titled Torture 245, which is ironic considering the fact we literally start this chapter off confirming that the tortures are going to be put on hold due to a hell fever that the demons have been developing. So yeah, the princess and Axe are free now and are able to do whatever the fuck they want for 2 days because when this hell fever breaks, pretty much every demon has to stay inside, even if they're not infected, because they can quickly get infected by someone. So yeah, princess and Axe are just free now. If they can just they're just in their they just have to stay in their dungeons and it's gonna be over. So yeah, now Axe still thinking that for some reason Princess wants to escape, even though at this point he probably should have just realized that the princess doesn't want to escape, and she probably has a better life here amongst the demons anyways. He wants to be like, wait a minute, if there's no one here, we could escape. But Princess doesn't really think of that, like, at all. What she actually thinks is Axe is talking about the meals and all that type of stuff. Which she explains that Torcho gave her 100 yen, I think it was, for 2 days, so for today and tomorrow. But Axe is more preoccupied on escaping, but so Princess isn't even aware of it, so she just thinks what to do with this, and she's like, oh, we can use this 100 yen to go into an eating competition, so we could not spend anything, because if you win eating competitions, you don't have to pay for stuff like that. So Princess thinks of that, and Axe tries to lead her down the path of escape, but she doesn't. She just thinks about the reward for winning the eating challenges and runs up to go to an eating challenge or eating competition. So she just says bye and goes to some place that I'm going to assume is a human restaurant, since demons are all in some kind of in lockdown. Which is kind of fine when you think about it, since is this Japan? Which I think it's pretty much Japan. Is Yeah, I think the all the streets and everything looks like Japan. And so, is this Japan like a country next to the to the hell demon world, or is this like a city in the demon world? Because like the characters seem to kind of just be running in and out of it on a daily basis, so it can be like really far. It kind of makes me think that it's like one of those things where it's like you have the demon castle, then you have a bit of a wasteland around that, but then you have like a demon, a normal city right next towards it. Like kind of there's a distance, but you can go with a bus or you can go on a train or something. Princess is physically capable, so I'm not surprised that she would just run to that place on her own. But like it's kind of a weird thing when you think about like the general geography of this kingdom or this location. But whatever, it's just there for comedy purposes, anyways. But so yeah. Anyways, Princess enters into an eating competition where she needs to eat 5 plates of 2 pound yakiniku, which is, I think, some form of meat. I'm not entirely certain, but anyways, she needs to eat those 5 in under 20 minutes time, and then she wouldn't have to pay. But if she doesn't, she has to pay 100 yen, which personally, Princess, I feel like if you're gonna enter an eating competition, you just for in case of, you really shouldn't be spending it all in one competition. Like, I mean, I know the princess's plan is basically going to an eating competition, win it, and then go and then not need to spend money. But just saying, princess, I feel like if it'll be better just to enter a cheaper one, just so you would still have some money for tomorrow. But I mean, I think we've all learned the princess isn't really the brightest bulb in the bunch, so it makes sense that she would not understand that the little problem that she is. But anyways, she enters that and she eats the first, and she makes like a good plan, like she'll quickly put some meat onto stir to heat to get warm and or fried or whatever, and then like eat it while the other one's is doing. So it'll be a very efficient way. Like you eat, you put it on, you will then take it down, put the other one on, and then eat the other one while the other one is frying. So she plans to go with that, but unfortunately for Princess, this yakiniku is actually really filling to a point that it makes her full after one plate. Kind of the reason why there's only 5 plates. But whatever, Princess wants to express her determination not to give up, not to give in, and all her speech with "I am the imperial princess, the third commander of the third royal legion or whatever. I shall not be defeated by Yakiniku." But then we cut away from it to back to the cell as Princess enters it with X being like, "How is it, Ben?" And Bridges just looks despondent and just kind of sits on the corner and clutches together because, as you can probably guess, she lost the competition, so she lost 100 yen, and now has no idea what to do for the next day because 100 was all that was given to her. So, yeah. Now the question is the next chapter going to have a joke with Princess having Princess being too filled from eating 5 plates or 2 plates or how many plates she ate of yakiniku? Or is there gonna be a joke that Sakura invites her over to eat something because Sakura is, to my knowledge, supposed to be human, so she really shouldn't be under the effect of it. I mean, I get not having torture sessions because she's the only one that would be able to do anything, and then there will be other manageable issues. But I mean, Sakura is still present, kind of there. It's weird that we don't have a reference at all, but whatever. We'll see how this is going to unfold in the next chapter. And now with the brief appetizer out of the way, it's time to we go into peak fiction with 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Chapter 190 titled Momiji's Grope Plus Days. Wait, Momiji without groping? Could she even live without groping? Well, apparently not, according to this chapter at least. But anyways, we find out why Momiji is in this horrific situation about not being groping, and that is basically saying that her groping muscles, muscles on her arms have gotten too injured from using them too much. When you use a certain part of your body too much, and then it kind of becomes injured to a point you have to kind of leave it away. Yeah, that's what happened with Momiji now, and she cannot really grope or do anything because if she does, it will probably just damage her muscles too much, and then she wouldn't be able to do it at all, which is basically suicide at that point. So yeah, Momiji is kind of not allowed to go up for a little while. Some characters are actually a bit surprised. Well, surprised at the wording that the doctor said because it's like, what kind of doctor? What kind of doctor would medical professional would say? The muscles you use to grope girls are currently too strained to be of use, meaning you must not use them at all, otherwise you will be permanently unable to grope. Maybe it's like a thing where Momiji exaggerates it, but whatever. Anyways, then we cut to, I think, a few days later as we get Momiji completely despondent and broken, and be like, low on group energy. Which, if you remember, in the. It's technically not a solo date with Kurumi, but it kind of is a solo date with Kurumi, where Kurumi and Momiji stay in line. She states that the only energy she needs is groping people. So she needs to grope to get some energy, but she cannot grope, so she's kind of low in energy right now, and she's kind of very unhappy about it. As the girls are worried about her, being like, "What can we do to help her?" As Nano suggests that maybe we can like replace her need for it by having her see people grope one another. So not no suggests Suzuku to grope her, which it's Suzuku, so all she does like touch it just poke Nano's breasts a bit. So not much energy, but luckily for everyone, Momoha is there grabbing Mai's hand and stuffing them under her boobs, so for their full-fledged groping. Not certain Momoha is drunk or not, but whatever, she is definitely getting the grope that Momiji needs, and probably getting my some fetishes. Now that I think about it, actually, considering the fact that in the last extra page we had May fantasizing about more of the girls, more of the tomboyish type of girls as a harem. I do wonder what kind of dreams she's gonna have after this one. I can actually see a joke about like some Karane is something like, you two do realize you can stop now, right? It failed, as May and Momoa still do the thing. But anyways, then we have the MILFs of the family be like, maybe if we sustained her by using our by putting her next to our boobs, she might get the energy that she requires. So Hakai, and Mimi, surprisingly enough, all go there to like put Momoji in a boob Muda triangle to try to stimulate her desires, but that only makes her lust for them more. So she goes all Bermuda triangle on us and disappears. But you notice she just jumped up to go in to grab them. But as the girls are screaming at her that she's not allowed to because she will not be able to do it later. And instead, her guy just suggests to suck their tits. So expected. I am quite surprised that Momoji has never sucked any girl's tits up until now. It's just kind of a weird thing, but whatever. But anyways, Rentaro is there to save the day as he jumps at Momoji to calm her desires and says to her, and that's the whole chat thing about him telling her to calm, don't worry, that he'll help stay by her side to help her go through this process so she doesn't lose desires. As then we have a bit of like a time of events situation where we have like Momoji doing stuff, doing her regular stuff with Rentaro showing up, like Momoji and Kurumi are playing volleyball or something, and Momoji desires to grope the ball, so Rentaro shows up, skipping his class to put her away. Then we get like Momoji walking past trash, and then she's a plushie that Rentaro stops her from groping. A sumo wrestler walks by for some reason, and Rentaro shows up to stop her groping, and Momoji wants to go for pillow, with Rentaro showing up to stop him from groping that. How he's able to... Honestly, I feel like this kind of, I believe one YouTuber is making a theory video about how timeline in 100 Girlfriends works. And I feel like this confirms that Rentaro can date multiple girlfriends at once, because at random places that he shows up and prevents Momoji from groping is really like, you need to have instant transmission or some super sentry type ability, because there's no way he would know, wait, Momoji is going to start groping her pillow. I gotta shut up and stop. So yeah. Anyway, then we get into I'm questioning if this is like a loud kind of chapter or panel, as we have Momoji like being all stressed because she wasn't able to go, be like, girl, there's so many beautiful girls here, so many beautiful girl boys, I wanna grope. And she's starting to lose it, but the other girls be like Chio and Matsumura, they're doing the straight man bit, as Matsu's like grabs Chio's arm, is like, oh my god, just us being near her is already making her want to grope us. Our presence alone, it's affecting her. And then we have like, I think Rin and Uta there, as Mai tells them to stay back so they don't get put in danger. Which is in fact, this is May. We're talking about the girl that is basically Kahai's unofficial daughter. Yeah, the fact that she's even concerned about this last shows you just how serious the situation is. As then we have to get that question about Momoji's desire for girls' bodies. She starts noticing that her hair falls off, as some of the girls are like, oh, all the stress of not being allowed to grow up has made you lose your hair. as then Momoji from the despair of that is like, if I'm gonna die, I might as well die groping. And she starts to want to touch her own body, which luckily Rentaro shows up and stops her, and as well as also revealing that he's bald, which is like, which kind of like, oh, you prevent, as in the girls are like, well, first, Rentaro does like a little joke about being, oh, I guess the cat's out the back, huh? As then we have Calvin's question, why is Rentaro bald? As there's also a little funny joke with I'll be like, what the cat is going on? Responding to Rentaro's cat's out the back kind of situation. So yeah, I love that little joke about Tama there. I mean, it's supposed to be a curse word, but they don't want to use the curse word. Although you can have moments you do that lustful shit, but whatever. As something also explained that, oh wait, Rentaro meaning to prevent one of his girlfriends from doing the things they love is so negative, is putting so much stress on him that it's making him lose his hair. But Erinta isn't concerned about that because he'll just have Kusuri make her hair growth drug or hair increasing drug. And there's a little reference to the hair apocalypse chapters where the moment where Kisa say, I'll make a bunch of them, but Karane probably saying, what, do you want an apocalypse? So yeah, I like those little interactions, especially in chapters. It's just kind of fun to see the characters, you know, suddenly are affected by this type of stuff, and they have their own reactions. As then seeing how far Ento goes for his girlfriend, Momoji feels very guilty and says that they might as well just bind her arms to prevent her from being able to. Although the way Momoji does it is like this, so I think it would probably be better to do it behind and probably duct tape the arms and fingers together. But whatever. I'm not gonna question your family's BDSM fetish. I mean, we do know how he has it. We're just not unclear about the other ones. But anyways, then the girls are kind of kind of like shocked by this determination to for the sacrifice, which is kind of funny when they try to play it out very seriously, but it's 100 girlfriends. Half the time it's silly. Like, unless it's a character's very quiet solo moment, it's usually not going to hit emotionally as hard. So, yeah. Anyways, then Rentao just grabs Momoji's hands and says that he will keep her hands together to prevent it from anything happening. So yeah, we just have him holding their hands together like this as the other girls are popping up to help with Nano and Hakari saying they'll keep make notes for Rentaro. Kurumi saying that she'll be working on Momoji's notes as well, so since she's the only girlfriend in the family who's in that class, which is kind of funny how the first like non-student, well, not okay, Takekusa is okay, not the first, but like it's kind of funny how Kurumi, the second non Nanto's class student that he got, is only has only had one addition to her group. I mean, Kusuri as well. Like the fact that both Kusuri and Kurumi only got like one additional member from their class is kind of funny. And for instance, like other ones also have it, just kind of one. I mean, Uta and Reina I think are in the same class. Um, Chio and Matsuri are definitely in the same class. Uh, Yanome and why am I blanking on the names? I mean, most characters outside of Rentaro's year are pretty much just a two girlfriend pair. But whatever, we'll see if there's gonna be additional girlfriends later. I mean, it's a fucking 100, and we are I think just past the 30 mark. Actually, are we just at the 30 mark? Actually, no. Which one was Zaki was watching? 30th girlfriend? Whatever. So everyone and anyways, back to the how every girlfriend's helping with Hi telling them that they can live at their mansion because we really should be explaining this stuff to parents yet. So they just have saying that they'll be still keep their distance so they do not affect Momoji, but they will be making meals and stuff like this. So we then get another like process of days chapter where we have like Rentaro feeding Momoji with the fork and sticking the food in her mouth. Which actually, there's a little funny joke with Zatsu there, where she's like, when Rentaro does his dedication, she's like, oh, fairy tales are falling in front of my eyes, which is just a funny little interaction from the characters. So yeah, then we get like things like how Hento helps with him helping her wash her body. No way he has a blindfold on. Then like helping her go to the bathroom. No way he has his head sticked out of his sticked out of the bathroom. So we have a lot of moments like that. And then we have Momiji and Renta going to bed. Uh, which is this the okay? This isn't the first time Renta was slept. Well, actually, no, he slept. Okay, are the girlfriends only sleeping in the same bed with Rentaro during? No, I'm saying there were times where Rentaro slept in the bed with all of his girlfriends as well. I mean, I think a couple of chapters ago in the daily life with Tama, he had her sleeping, being in the same photon with her. But yeah, whatever. So, anyways, then we have Momiji dreaming about stuff as she's dreaming about touching all the girls. Like uh, you have Kurumi, Asumi, Kiki, Ota, no, not Uta, Ota. Why am I blanking on her name now? The Massachusetts one. And Ako being groped. Like you have Momiji groping Asu, you have Momiji groping Kurumi's belly, you have Kiki's thighs being groped, you have Otto's or whatever the Massachusetts one's ass being groped, you have Ako's lips being cheeks being groped because Momiji did reference how soft they are. So yeah, we have her finding stuff like that as she then opens her eyes as she sees Rento as he tells her, "Don't worry, I will be with you always," and all that. And then the next day, we have Momoji's arms being completely healed, which makes me wonder how long this injury was, since I think this in the beginning chapter as well as this moment they have like a couple of days skipped. But whatever, she's healed now. As Momoji says, oh, "My arms are healed. Now all the girls' bodies are mine to touch." As Ento's like, alright, calm yourself. Hey, let's not go that far. As then Momiji asks for a bit of a groping session, as she's like, I'm sure I would be interested to help you since that's a high. I mean, a couple of panel pages ago, she was literally saying to breastfeed for crying out loud. But anyways, then Momoji just goes on Rento as she massages back and then kisses him, and we have this like very cute panel about Momoji saying I love you to Rento. So a very sweet chapter, as well as lustful chapters because oh boy, there's like, I mean we always okay. So how do the girlfriends go? I mean, Hakai and Hahai are definitely number one, number two, but I feel like it's pretty safe to say that Momiji is number three. I mean, you could probably have the bear a bit more than some other girlfriends have lost, like Karani, so perhaps it's lustful, but like I don't think Karani's inner monologues are just as lustful as Momoji's action. So actually, now that I think about it, you could probably debate if Hakai, how lustful Hakai and Hahai are, because like at least those two like. I mean, they're lustful, but it's more like environmentally lustful. Like, if they see Rentaro or if they are around other girls, they're gonna be lustful. But Momiji is someone who will get lustful if she just sees something that would be interesting to grope. So, I would probably say Momiji is like above those two. But, anyways, pretty much, with Slice of Life basically done, except for the final chapter of the week. It's time to go into some action with Four Knights of the Apocalypse, chapter 163, titled Wirong Amid the Uproar. I think some of my notes got a little bit of a autocorrect issue, but whatever. Because this chapter is kind of just a process and reintroduction for the Colosseum fights and all that. So, anyways, we start this chapter off with basically explain to us what happened with Ironside after he got his Chaos Amp. Because remember, like the last time we saw them, we had Palgod and Ironside getting Chaos Amped, and then we had Palgod saying, and then we had Will Day mentioning or referring to Diodre with Ironside. Be like, wait, what? With Palgod saying, "Oh, Your Majesty, who is that woman?" Referring to Palgod's wife. So we follow from by seeing what their first interaction between Ironside and Deotre was beforehand, and we see that Ironside has no memory of Deotre at all. Like, it's not like one of those things where the characters have like somewhat of idea about the past. Like, okay, like I mean, it was kind of like but you're like, wait, are you why do I have a little kid living in my place again? Or something like that. It's literally just like, I have no idea who are you, why should be didn't your parents raise you to be better? And I mean, he does remember Tourette and Rufus because he even says it, those you two, escort this boy outside or out of here. But well, we'll get into Tourette and Rufus later, but let's just say that right now, let's just say it was kind of weird out by this. And the OJ's special like his father, who, okay, to the OJ, honestly, is a very kind-hearted father, so why is he acting like he doesn't exist anymore? And the OJ doesn't really push it much. It seems to be more like, what? Should we go ask someone? It also kind of implies to me that it kind of makes me think that the OJ after being escorted out, just was like, "Hey, do you two not know what's going on? Should we go ask someone?" He was with His Majesty, so why would he be acting this weird? So I'm assuming that Arthur did come and explain things to that. Or not explain things. It's actually kind of weird how it was stated. Like, okay, Deotre comes to Arthur and asks him what's wrong with his father, which kind of makes me think that he went there himself with Turret and Rufus. But it's kind of a weird thing where it's like, how would he get to Arthur unless if Arthur was already kind of planning to meet him from the beginning? Because you're gonna have to compensate somehow. You have to explain things. But anyways, Arthur comes to Deodre, and after Deodre apologizes to Arthur for wasting his time, Arthur tells, well, lies to Deodre about what the reason why Arthur's acting this way. Is he's like, yes, I was concerned about Ironside's mental state for a while now, actually. It seems that all of this trouble with those despicable phonauts of the apocalypse has finally affected his mental state to a point that he can't even remember his own son, who he loved so very much. Kind of an issue, yes, but I suppose it just shows that we have to take care of them quickly and quickly as soon as possible. No, we didn't come away from this, so I'm unclear if this is supposed to be because we do get the Ultra's going all this, so but I'm not certain this is supposed to be what I offer said, or if this is just meant to be like if this is meant to have just been like his own idea, yeah, of his own plan or what Doja knew from his information or whatever. Or this like the author's plan to get rid of the OJ permanently or whatever, because we have the OJ going to this Beltrepper competition saying that Beltrepper would be able to reverse Ironside's mantle, that whole wish that they gave, which makes me kind of think this wish might be some kind of no third power that's able to do whatever, which to be fair, it is marketed like this, but it's just kind of a weird how it's explained. But regardless, they go. It's explained that the OJ wants to save his father by going to Bill Trapper, win this competition, and we're wishing for him to restore Ironside's mind so he'll be remembered and all that, which, yeah, I don't know if Bill Trapper is aware of the contract that Ironside made or not, but something that tells me that this isn't going to happen, regardless if the OJ wins or loses the competition. But anyways, then we cut to the present as we have Percival being like, wait, you're the OJ, aka, but before he can confirm anything or before he can actually interact with the OJ, we have Turret and Rufus, the two guys who were ordered by Mortlock to protect the OJ when he was sent on his final mission, and the two guys who were kind of shown intimidatingly standing behind the Odra as if, you two, I can kill these your loved ones quite easy. So I'm not saying this two are working for Arthur. This is just something that, this is the thing. You could have it be viewed that it was more like a representation. Like, we have Chaos Knights all over the place. In fact, the Ultra has two Chaos Knights right there. Do you think that if I order them to kill the OJ, one of them won't go for it if I promise something or if I send someone else? Maybe it's more supposed to be symbolic or something, but regardless, the Deodre is. But regardless, these two are right now helping Deodre, and though it does seem like they're not at least trying to kill him. Like, they are definitely keeping him covered. It's like, don't worry, we are here. I'll use my summoning. I'll slash, stuff like this. And then they definitely were the ones that gave Deodre that armor, which, or unless if Arthur made that armor. But regardless, they got the armor for Deodre so he can, participate in this competition. As then we have the two of them fighting. Then we see one of the two. I don't think we actually know which one is which. But regardless, we have like the bigger one, the lanky blackhead, the short blackhead one, using some kind of summoning ability to summon some kind of invisible. I'm going to assume chameleon type of creature to like knock out some opponents. So you have there's some random fighters going to slice because Diogenes was already having a hard time breathing, so and then we have Percival nearby, so they were all going to take him down, but the invisible being just defeated all of them, knock them all out, and beat them. I imagine that there isn't anyone that would really kind of be able to go up against Stuart and Rufus, so it's like in this part of the competition, essentially all they have to do is like keep Deodre around, keep Deodre behind them or around them, so they can easily eliminate the entire enemy squadron. Have Deodre beat a few of the easier ones, but the harder ones can just be dealt with them because again, like from what I understand, at least from this chapter and the last chapter, it kind of gives me think that Deodre can take down a lot of these small fry, but it's the bigger fries where his heart will start getting too sickly for him to fight against. So yeah. Anyways, after this, we have Percival as he's like kind of reacting to that life spirit, that creature that's been attacking people. Um, he gets knocked back as he goes a bit away. As then we cut to a different part of the battlefield as we have a lot of gladiators reacting. Wait, what's going on with our armors? Our armors. They are becoming bigger. They are something off. As we give them like a shrunken down, we have like classic like dudes naked, women naked, and all that. As we find out that Nazian's created a new potion called Misty Rain Chicken Matango, which is a shrinking type of potion that makes everyone small for an hour. So, which honestly, I feel like it's not really a good idea. Nonsense. I mean, you do realize that them being shrunken in this state, it could lead to them being crushed to death, right? I mean, come on. I mean, I don't necessarily protagonist, but when you really think about it, nothing, that was a really dangerous and sadistic thing to do against them. But whatever, they are out of the way, and it's probably like an easy way to get removed. It's kind of similar to Percival touching them and taking away their force to knock them out quickly. So yeah. Anyways, the old. While Nonsense is kind of telling them all of those people this, we have Percival being knocked into back to him, and Nonsense like, oh, hi, Percival, how are you going? It seems like we got split during this fight, as we have the as we have them interacting, and Nonsense does there's something off about Percival because he's kind of down on it. Oh my the guy whose body this was originally meant to be is here. What do I do? What do I do? I don't think the Percival knows of this. At least I don't think there's a way for him to know it because he can't read minds. Like, he's not Lancelot, so I don't think he really should know the origins in a monologue. But maybe he can tell from the life spirits. Maybe he can get information from life spirits. I mean, to be fair, I don't think we've ever seen him knowing what people have been thinking, all that type of stuff. So I feel like he doesn't. But we'll see what he's gonna do. He probably is gonna try to get something. I mean, I do not know if he's gonna learn about Ironside's memory being erased and all that, and then Chaos Amp or something. But whatever. So Percival was a bit down, but then he noticed it, and the Nazians noticed it, so he immediately goes, "Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Let's go back to our fight. Let's win quickly, so we'll get this over and done with." So we have Nazians dealing. So we have Nazians and Percival going back into the fight. As then we cut to Anne's fight, as then she clashes with a few knights, and she's being overwhelmed. As she asks those knights, do they have no shame at attacking a single woman, a single girl? As some are like, oh no, we aren't going to have any issue with that, but some of them actually do think like, oh, which I is actually kind of disgusted by this, where she's like, really, only a few of your, I mean, we don't have the exact numbers because of Manga panels, but it kind of looks like let's say out of a group of 20, only 5 of them at most, maybe 3, honestly. Honestly, I think I might be exaggerating the numbers there a bit, but okay, but in regards, like very few of them actually feel shame while attacking a single girl, and that kind of disgusts Anne. It's kind of similar thing to Dobbs, where she was like, "Oh, if you lie, you're going to get punished for it." And Dobbs was like, "But I don't care about humans. It doesn't really matter." And I was like, "Oh, you really don't care about us, huh?" Actually, that angers me more. So Anne is super pissed off at that, and then she makes like a little joke how they're all just scummy and they all just want their mommy's breast milk for some reason. I have no reason idea how Anne got to that conclusion, but she did, and that actually was a lot more effective on them because I like took down 17 of them or something. And think as I was like, wow, they really want it, huh? As they all start calling for mommy. I'm not certain what the heck this is supposed to mean, but it's a joke fight. It kind of similar thing as nausea and shrinking. I mean, it's not supposed to be thought of too much. But yeah. Anyways, then there are still some who are standing. They weren't affected by Anne's magic, so they go to slice at her. And Anne is getting a bit overwhelmed, which is mostly just a plot overwhelm. For a individual to show up and help to block and cut back and do the hero move thing as a guy who has his face cloaked, as he tells Anne, "I'm not your enemy. I'm here to help you in your mission," and all that. As Anne wants to help, wants to know who he is, as this guy says, "Oh, no one, someone who's not worth remembering," which is true, as that unfortunately for him activates Anne's magic, which knocks him down. And Anne's like, "Don't try to be cool," as she removes the hood. As she sees it's Boris, the guy that they saved from Camelot immediately after the time skip. And I think in the last volume there was like a extra piece of material, some extra pages with him being in training by one of the knights that went up against uh, Palgard when he was in Camelot. Well, when he was in Lyoness, the guy who's I think supposed to be the guy who was I think in the amongst the original kept those in Silent Sins as a child, but now he's a holy knight. But whenever he's there, and I guess somehow enter this and in competition as well as fight. Which Anne's then first angry because he was trying to act all cool, and Anne's like, "Hey, who did you come here and with to help us in this competition?" So, and she knocks him around a bit. So yeah, unfortunately for her, she also hit him so much that she was actually a bit knocked out. So now she has to move him out. I'm going to assume the boys is also going to take one of the slots. But anyways, then some of the Chaos Knights are showing up to attack her, and she's holding boys of it. Since she's kind of in a open kind of attack as then they go. But as they attack, we see a water spirits spinning around their heads and starting to suffocate them. As then we also see a giant explosion. As we see two characters coming from that is they're like one of them's like, "Oh, well, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised you'll be in trouble with this. You are above the weak squadron." And the other one being happy about me will be with Anne being saying, "Hey, that is that any way to speak to someone after to being apart for so long?" But she's like, "Anyways, I'm still happy to see you two." As we see Cheon and Isolde here, and okay, I kind of thought that the Percival's platoon didn't really change much after Timescape, but Jian and Soul have really changed post Timescape because Jian has like a scar across his face as well as like a shoulder hair. He doesn't have it covering half his I don't think he has it's covering his eye again, but and it has like a different, more like kind of a range type of outfit. While Isola really grew up. Like I'm not talking like the haha offensive stuff sense. I'm talking like actual like more mature. Like Isola looks like a the way how Nakaba usually draws adult women men when it comes to their facial structure, as well as like she wears like a full body kind of outfit. Like I mean, she a sleeveless kind of thing. It's like that's sleeveless, but still kind of wears kind of like they kind of wear those generic like some more bad. I won't say that's like generic fantasy badass looking outfits. Like you don't get an armor, but you get like very cool looking clothing. The ones that feel like they're kind of stretching how much of a fantasy, how much of these worlds are fantasy. But yeah, anyways, they are here and they are enter, which now with Isolde being confirmed to being present, it now raises the question on what is that woman or that what's that in Isolde that attrition has been taking care of all this time. Not to mention on where what the heck is going on, because from this from the way it's said here, it makes it sound like the two of them just were not able to communicate with one another for much, but we don't really know like what happened. I'm assuming we're gonna get like a explanation at this point, since Isola and Gianna there, and we have all that, so I can see someone be like, after Gawain went off to go study things with her father in her father's place, we went up against them. We lost. Tristan covered for us, but his memory was erased and changed. We've tried to reunite and regroup with him, but it never worked. Instead, we were just talking about some weird nonsense about in Seoul that we don't know of, and yeah, we are sort of just kind of focusing on this competition to just get some benefits or some information to take out Bell Chorpa or something. So yeah. So anyways, as the final section look like, we have first of all Platoon plus Gawain, we have Isola Chion, we have Tantras, we have Boys and Dioja with Turef and Duet and Rufus. So we have so we have 12 competitors here and 4 remaining, which I'm going to assume the remaining 4 are gonna be the main threats of the arc, at least. At least I'm going to assume they're gonna be. I mean, to be fair, that was 2 weirdly cloaked individuals, so I'm not entirely certain, but whatever. We're gonna see how the final 16 are going to unfold. Honestly, there isn't really like any kind of big threat from the characters so much on the competition, so another reason why they're probably gonna be like dominating football are gonna be some kind of enemies, because like so far the enemies are literally the OJ, who can barely even fight for a long periods of time against anyone worth, and then you have Tured and Doofus, who don't even seem to be that they haven't shown themselves to be extremely powerful amongst Chaos Knights. So yeah. Anyways, after 100, well, 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, we have One Piece, chapter 1127, titled "Adventure in the Land of Mystery," which is kind of going up against the usual title scheme about how it's like the adventure in the land of the whatever island is. So like adventure in Egghead or adventure in Wano, but here it's like mystery, even though it's very clearly supposed to be Elbaf. So yeah. Anyways, and we very much get confirmed that it's Elbaf because we see like a bunch of giants being panicky about the situation. Like there's some fire that's spreading in the Great Forest. They mentioned something with a fake fire god that they have to inform about what's going on. So who that fake fire god? Well, fake sun god. Fire god, sun god. I kind of confuse these two a bit, but you guys fake sun god. About this, and there's also mentioning of a ear god being defeated or falling, which we'll get back into the end of the chapter. But yeah, there's a bit of a chaos here, and the Destroyer's not even all present. So God knows what they're gonna do when they find. Oh wait, the Destroyer's ship as well as half the crew has also disappeared out of nowhere. What the heck is going on? Whose dumb idea was it to give the Green Fairy? You really shouldn't be giving that Green Fairy until you're on island, because otherwise you'll probably just get up lost and sea for crying out loud. Who's the idiot who thought it was a good idea? Ha! Who's the idiot? Was it you, Dory? Was it you? So yeah, kind of just John's kind of panicking about a lot of things that's been happening there, and kind of there's a lot of setup mystery to be solved in the next chapters. But anyways, we start this chapter off with, well, we then cut to Nami running around the places. She sees a giant being scared about where she is. Be like, oh, why? I don't even remember putting this outfit on. All right, so I got had a lot of fun changing Nami's attire, and she's like, oh, she's kind of scared, and then she goes a bit, walking around a bit, and she sees a giant porcupine, and she's like, first it kind of looks cute, but then it kind of goes for an attack. Actually, I think she's also attacked by a few giant bugs that she attacks against, and she uses Zeus to knock them out. I guess because Olaf remember that he kind of the Zeus is kind of present. Then Nami is super scared because like she wants anyone, like even Usopp would do. As she hears Usopp's voice, she goes towards him, and then she encounters a porcupine and runs around. As then she sees where Usopp is, which he's being eaten by a giant cat. That Nami's like, hey, you should be been helping me, not you getting yourself in trouble. As then Nami uses her common attack to attack the giant porcupine that's coming towards her, but that just kind of angers it. And well, actually, no, I think she does hit it, but then the porcupine just falls down, and Nami falls down and then hits the cat, which gives her and Usopp a chance to run away. Like she falls and then also attacks. Okay, she falls, executes the giant cat, which angers it, and that allows Usopp to get out of the way so they can all both run away as the giant cat is chasing them. As then they are like questioning what the heck is going on, or they were just on a ship drinking. Now they are like analyzing what's going on with, because the two of them are currently in a weird Lego house being chased around by giant animals dressed up in outfits that they don't even remember putting on. So they are thinking about everything that could happen, and they're thinking about, wait a minute, it could just be that beer that they drank, that green fairy hallucination type of thing. It would explain all the things. Since from their perspective, it's like since from their perspective, it's like we were drinking some alcoholic beverage that is apparently supposed to make you hallucinate, and now we are in a strange and unknown land with giant animals attacking us all over the place with a building that looks like it's made of Legos. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, there's clearly something wrong here, so what should we do? And Usopp thinks that is the case, so he kind of goes, tries to confront this cat to think that, oh, it's probably not gonna hurt me if it hits me. So he kind of wants to go, but then it turns out that's definitely not the case, because the cat does strike at Usopp, and that does hit him, and does send him to the ground, falling, and severely injuring him. So yeah, they are definitely, regardless of how much of this is hallucination, because there's like a lot of inconsistency in terms of art, like Luffy not having a weapon, then him having a sword, and then him having an axe. Like there's a lot of weirdness about, like there's a lot of weird appearances. In fact, even this cat is very weird, because at first it was like a cat, but now it seems to be a giant lion. So, well, I guess this is Alba, it would probably be more accurate to say a normal sized lion. It's for giant size. It's giant sized lion, but whatever. They're clearly still. They don't really know what's that, but all knows is that they are gonna in trouble now. So they're getting attacked with the giant lion, with Nami being scared and using Usopp as like meat shield, because obviously she would do that. Like it's very much me talk back at Usopp. She's still a coward at the end of the day. So she goes to prepare attack, but luckily for her, the monster trio shows up, and they just no-div this giant cat and transform it back into a kitty. So yeah, then then the monster trio are just kind of very casual about the thing. They're like, "Wow, this giant lion is so weird. Hey, I want to eat it. Can we cook it?" As in, somebody's like, "Oh yeah, this would be really well work. Although I don't think it's really worth eating it right now, considering the fact we did literally just eat a giant rabbit." Which is referring to the ear guy at the beginning of this chapter, which is supposed to show how much they were kind of partying and demolishing the entire thing. So while Nami is very much still panicking over the soul situation, while Usopp is on the ground thinking, "Don't think I'm gonna forget you're using me as a human shield, Nami. Don't think that." So yeah, and that's it. And that's pretty much it for this chapter. It's a very short, brief chapter. It's kind of more like, like these chapters are more for the characters to interact and show their personalities off a bit. But whatever, it's a okay. And I think it raises a few mysteries and makes you wonder what the heck is going on in this arc and how this is gonna unfold. But whatever, we have to wait probably 100 months before we're gonna be able to see the how this arc's gonna unfold. But anyways, that's it for One Piece. As then we go to Chain Soldier, chapter 140, titled "The Chiefs." Feels like the author just didn't know how to name this chapter and just decided, I have a lot of chiefs like showing off their personalities, interacting, so I guess we could just call it the Chiefs. It doesn't really matter. I guess everyone does something, but except Tanka, but still kind of a weird thing. But anyways, we start this chapter off with Coco and Tatara spying. Coco, if you don't remember, is a small one in Yuki's sister's humanoid group, the one that was kind of more the wrestler type of guy. Who had like more a wrestling names like Coco K, Coco Pons, the one that gets defeated by they got defeated by getting hit by a pointy weapons of a fist. So yeah, she's there. So yeah, she wants to go up against the Chiefs to see how powerful they are. And I also kind of feel like it's supposed to show us the difference between gods of thunder and these humanoid, because like humanoid get completely wrong. Like this isn't even a fight; it's literally just a few seconds of tutorial completely overwhelming Coco 100%. So it's like kind of supposed to show, oh yeah, chiefs can barely defeat gods, but humanoids like Yuki's sister's group are just no trouble at all. So it's meant to kind of show this. But anyways, we get a little spar. We have like Doko trying to punch her, but Totoro just uses her key to like block and redirect her attacks, and then just use her key attacks to like attack her from a distance. With Coco then being like, "Oh, this is strong, but I can withhold it." And then when she's done, she'll be tired, and I'll go for a kick. But she's just able to, but Totoro is like immediately able to realize that Coco is not gonna go down by these key attacks. It's gonna have to be direct knocked out. So she immediately jumps at Coco, puts her in a bind, and then slams her onto the floor, knocking her out immediately. With no one being very impressed by how quickly she dealt with Coco. So yeah, it's just a little fun little interaction, little fight to see here. And also some nice ass shot because this chapter is kind of a lot more. It is a lot less fan service than it usually is in this series. So this is kind of like the peak of fan service that we get in the chapter. Although I guess we still do have a Fubuki bath scene to go to. So yeah, anyways, after this we see that Ryan, one of the other politician women, were watching this as the politician was like, "Oh, I see how powerful the Chief Tatar is, and I see we don't even have to restrain them because it's clear they are overwhelmed." Like previously, it was a little bit panicked because they didn't know about the power of these two, but now it's clear that these two versus any of the chiefs are like no dip. Because no offense to Tatar, but she's definitely like I would say the weaker ones, but we're like depending on how you want to rank Bell and Mia, you could probably say that Tatar is the weakest one. So yeah, it's very clear they are that they don't have to worry about these two being able to do any kind of damage. They're not the gods, which kind of funny when you think about they want to make deals and negotiations with the stronger ones amongst the Shoka, but whatever. So yeah, anyways, then we get Ran kind of processing information what they're gonna do after this with Rand being like, all right, we are gonna have to deal with Tenka infiltrating Onmo agency and dealing with punishing her after that, after this. But for now, we'll be, well, I guess the most that Rand can say about being like, oh, right now I have to focus on the election, which she never said because she thinks she's safe in her position. So she just says that right, analyze what Kyoko would probably be doing right now, and that would probably be to reduce the numbers of candidates since yeah, I mean, it's not really directly stated if candidates cannot, for who do the candidates vote? If you're a candidate, can you not vote, or do you vote? Because I don't think it's ever been stated directly. So if there's few candidates, the more candidates there are, the less votes there might be, depending again how you want to interpret it. Which is something that was mentioned by someone like, wait a minute, so if there's just a bunch of candidates, that basically means that the competition is just going to get down to the politicians who can't even elect. Because despite it being an election, there's only 11 people that vote in this competition, and two of them are politicians, while the other ones are chiefs who all want to get the position. So it's you could literally have an election where there's 9 candidates, but only 2 votes to go to anyone. So it's kind of feels like a very flawed election when you really break it down, because I mean, essentially it comes down to, since only 2 people are guaranteed to vote, and those 2 have the same fucking motive. The way it's displayed for these 2 political women, man, these 2 really feel like they would pick for the same person. Even if we didn't have Ran, let's say we took Ran out and had Totora, or just a completely different chief, anyone you, and just, actually, okay, let's say that Totora's age of chiefs, the older chiefs, all were trying to beat chiefs and commanders their own right. It would just come down to who the politicians think would bow to their power the most. Realistically speaking, that's pretty much what this election comes down to. So Rand thinks that Kyoko is now basically just going to be trying to remove as many candidates as possible, so she'll be able to get as many votes from the chiefs. Because Kyoko probably recognizes that she will not be able to get votes from the political individuals, so it's better to just try to get votes from the chiefs, as many of them as possible. So, which is a pretty smart idea, which is a pretty accurate analysis, because that's what Kyoko is going to do. With Kyoko now going up against the more, I don't want to say wild card, but more the ones who express their desires to be chiefs. Because remember, Totoro doesn't want to be chief, Belle would rather die to be chief, and Bavera is definitely not going to go against Kyoka, which leaves herself, Ran, who are definitely going to be competing, Tanka, who also doesn't, who maybe would have been chief, but is clearly more focused on making Kyoka chief. And then you get to Azumira and Fubuki, who are the 3 who are the most likely to be try to be chiefs. So yeah. Anyways, Kyoka first goes to a spa scene with Fubuki, so we get them naked as they talk a bit, and Fubuki tells her that desire to be commander-in-chief was her mother's desire, so it doesn't really matter to her. What she'll do now as the head of the family is focus on nurturing the talents of her daughter, so they will all want to become chiefs, which feels like which kind of feels like you just sort of the putting all that responsibility to your daughters instead of actually asking what they want to do. I mean, do they want to be chiefs? Especially since, actually, now I think about it, have any of Fubuki's daughters expressed the desire to be chief? Her eldest daughter was so disinterested that she actively needed extra combat training just to see if she's if she's not over reliant on everyone else. Yachiro, I think was her name, the time one, the poser one. She is has never, I think, desired any position of chief. She was more focused on her on Himari. Actually, where is Himari? Isn't she supposed to be present and all that? So where is she? But anyways, and Himari, I also don't think has really desired to be chief. I mean, maybe she expressed it once. I mean, commander-in-chief, just to be clear, I'm talking about the highest ranking position. But I don't think Himari ever expressed it. It's kind of a weird thing, but whatever. Maybe it's supposed to be another character thing. Maybe it's gonna be going up against, or maybe I'm just misunderstanding the situation a bit, but regardless, Fubuki says that she has no desire for it right now, so to just focus on her family. Does that include your unmentioned husbands who isn't even clear if they are alive or dead right now? Those men at all? Hello, woman. You have three daughters. How did you get them? But anyways, it doesn't matter. Regardless, Kyoka is now certain that Fubuki is not going to compete. Then she goes to Azu as she's doing some yoga practices. And Azu is kind of again showing her wild cardness in this situation because while she does agree with Kyoka, or at least okay, Azu's argument for not wanting to become a candidate for the commander is basically like, well, you have far more success and accolades in the last couple recently, so it probably not be best for me to. So it would be kind of pointless for me to be in this competition. So I will just select. So I think I'll just wait until next year to see if I have a better chance of becoming commander in chief. So Az is kind of very chill about that. As then Kyoka asks Azu who she'll vote for because Fubuki can kind of be convinced through her daughters to vote for the Kyoka, but when it comes to Azu, it's kind of like one of those things where there's no real like reason why Azu would want to pick Kyoka everyone. So Azu says that Ran would probably be better to have as commander in chief. Uh, I mean, although from what we find out, I don't know how much if this is more of a one of those corrupt things because Azu mentions that Ran has actually been taking care of her sisters really well. So this implies to me that it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, I have an idea. Why don't you give? Why don't you leave your sister's education and family and all that type of stuff? Leave the bill entirely to us to pay, so your sisters can get the education, can they get the lifestyles they want. That way we all kind of benefit. I mean, that's it's not directly stated, but that's kind of the implication I'm getting because she actually directly states she's taking care of her sisters. So so this gives me the idea that there are some privileges that Azu's sisters have thanks to Ran. And Kyoka responds to this by saying, "Did you not get affected by what happened to the humanoid Choka? Because like everyone else was kind of affected by it." And again, like it didn't seem like they even realized that Azu was affected by it because when she went to a comfort zone, they're like, "Can you keep your lust out of the way?" But I am not in my lust state. I'm literally sore. I literally feel bad for her. So Kyoka thinks that she doesn't that she did wasn't reached, but Azu tells her that I mean, yeah, it's a shock to find out it's true. It's just kind of one of those things where I expected. It's kind of like finding out a politician or a businessman is corrupt. It's like, yeah, I mean, I guess you're kind of shocked by it, but you're also like, I mean, I'm not really all that shocked. What's that Futurama meme? I am shocked, I say. Or maybe not that shocked. I even think was it even in the beginning of the story? Like I think it was even in the anime. I think it was caught in the anime, where like Tenka and Kyoka talk to each other, and they're like, "I don't really know how. I don't really trust Ran dealing with the situation. Or I don't really know how much Ran is in the pockets of Unmo Agency. So it's kind of a similar thing with Azure here. Like she isn't shocked, but it's like I'm not surprised that she did it. It's like it's the confirmation that shocked me rather than the motion of this happening. And as it also states that she doesn't think Kyoko would be the best commander in chief because she thinks she's very strict and very uptight and all that type of stuff, which clearly Azu doesn't is not fair. She's very much more of a free spirit kind of deal. And Kyoko wants to kind of say, no, I wouldn't be like that. Look, we don't really know each other, so I would like you to know me better so we could, get the vote. Because again, like as is right now leaning towards Iran, but it's very clear that it's gonna be hard to convince Azu to join. It's kind of like Azu has always been kind of a wild card throughout the entire election. Well, from the very beginning of this arc, it's been clear that Azu is gonna be a wild card. You can't really argue you can pretty much make an argument for everyone. So it's no surprise that she's not kind of the one that could be easily won, the one who could be very won over. But anyways, as Kyoko says, they'll get to know each other closer as it really goes to for the love making session. But Kyoko says, not that close, not that close, not that close. So yeah, Kyoko is not gonna be selling her body to get Azu's vote, which may be the best solution for this. But whatever. Kyoko then leaves Azu to her yoga. Ashin's like, good. Fubuki and Azu are not competing, so it's and the other ones again are not competing as well. So this only leaves Mira as the only one. So now we have Kyoka talking to Mira as they are at the lake outside the building as they talk about it. And Mira, honestly, I'm kind of surprised how involved Mira seems to be getting here because we have Mira be kind of the one that was the most affected by this information, which to be fair, she's the most righteous one of them all. It would probably make sense, but she's definitely the one that it got affected. Like, while other ones were more like, hmm, I'm not exactly a fan of this, or like, oh, I'm actually, I'm feeling bad here. I'm not being lustful. Well, here Mia is like straight up like, I can't believe it. Like what she said was nice. Like what Ren said, I support, but the way she said, the emotions coming from her, it was clear that she didn't care. It was like all empty. Like it was like it was. There was no like, I don't want this to happen. Like we don't want this, but we have to keep them secret. We can't let the public know the panic, the suffering and all that. Like Rand did not come off like this. Rand came out very cold towards it, which shocked Mira because like when she sees Rand gushing over animals, because like that's been kind of confirmed in the last in before this arc. That Rand and Mira kind of have like this thing where Mira comes over and they look at like pictures of cute animals. So Mira knows Rand more than anyone about like how much Rand loves her dogs and all that type of stuff, which yeah, well, guess what, Mira? People love animals more than humans sometimes. I mean, how? A couple of, I think, weeks ago, I got come across a clip of an old clip from Family Guy where they were like walking on in one of the layers. It's walking or male seasons. I don't know. In one I think it was season 17 or something where the Griffin family was walking up the mount, walking down from a Mount Everest, and they came across the one-off episode character, the son there, and they were like considering if they should be eating him or not because he was already frozen to death and they were starving. So one commenter actually said, "Not gonna lie, I would rather eat a person than an animal." So yeah, people like animals more than humans. So I'm not really surprised by that. And another commenter, another person who commented on this chapter mentioned that like Mia doesn't understand why Ren likes dogs. She doesn't like dogs because they're cute. She likes dogs because they're obedient, and she kind of wants everyone to be obedient to kind of follow her line. So yeah, it's clear that Mia and Ren, while had similar interests, it's clear that two of them were not reaching the same conclusion, kind of deal. And it's kind of a similar thing here with Kyoka, where Mira and Kyoka both want what's the best and what's the more moral route, but Mira points out that alright, well, we can coexist with gods. And if they surrender and that all is true, I don't think there's gonna be an issue with us coexisting. You, on the other hand, I don't think you can live in a world where we will coexist. I mean, Kyoka does state that, oh, she doesn't believe the gods have fully surrendered, and she is right about that. But it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, what do you plan to do next kind of deal? And Kyoka, and that's kind of thing, Kyoka isn't really the best. And Mia doesn't understand, like, she's not calling Kyoka out or anything. She's just like, I understand why you wouldn't want to help Shokai, like the gods or anything, because of your past with Shokai, losing your village and everyone, but I mean, we really should kind of be at least considering coexistence with them. I mean, yeah, you can kind of question the government's corruption and all that and trying to use it more for resources than anything else, but as things stand, if we can coexist with them, which I do think we can, the way, the Mira as an interaction with Kosetsu kind of shown they can kind of communicate together. So Mira is very considered like we can get the coexistence out of the way, can do the coexistence thing. And yeah, Kyoka is very much like that's like you would definitely want to pick the best, most moral route. So Mira is definitely gonna be in competition, which is confirmed after we leave from this conversation between Kyoka and Mira. With the next day, with the old lady from Squad One saying that the current candidates are Ran, Kyoka, and Mira. So we have three candidates. And assuming they can allow to vote, this means the votes are up to Bell, Tatara, Fubuki, Azu, Varvara, uh, the two politicians, and wait, who am I forgetting? Tatara, Tatara. Wait, okay, I'm definitely forgetting someone. Tatara, Fubuki, Azu, Varvara, Bell, two politicians. Who am I blanking on? Right? I'm okay. Yeah, wait, no, there's eight of them, so there has to be someone I'm forgetting. Right, Mira. Who am I forgetting? Who am I blanking on right now? Seriously. This is so embarrassing. Who am I blanking? Todora. Tora, Fubuki, Azu, Bavara, Bell. Danka. I'm blanking on Danka. She didn't appear much in this chapter, so she completely escaped my mind. So yeah, it comes down to them and the two politicians. One we've seen. So yeah, now we'll get into the chances of everyone out after this. Okay, alright, so then we have Yuki kind of thinking, alright, so Mira, Ran, and Kyoka are the candidates. And then Valera and Yuki seem to have shared this weird kind of mental bond, or at least both seem to be able to read each other's minds a bit. As Valera's like, stir yourself, Yuki. Our job now is to support Kyoka full heartedly. As Yuki's like, yes, right. Which I'm not entirely certain what Yuki can do. I mean, I don't even know why the fuck he's here. I mean, if Imari is and they're giving her opinion on the matter, why is he here? I know he's kind of the boy toy of this group, but he isn't really like doing much or even participating in the lecture, I think. But whatever, he's agreeing with her. As then we end this chapter off with Valvera having some kind of plan to say like she'll make a move. I'm not sure what this is. I don't really know if she would be. She'll join the candidate if she revealed that she actually did leave her candidate her list thing as well. Because I feel like that like you can sneak this in. Plus, she would kind of take away votes for Kyoko, so I don't really understand why. So it has to be something else. I don't know. Maybe she plans on seeing everyone in her church and spending the next what was the explanation? Like 2 hours, 2 days, saying how great Kyoka is. I mean, when it comes to preaching the good word of Kyoka-sama, Robert is your woman for the job, so we have to wait and see on that front of the things. I mean, and no one can praise Kyoka more than she does, but I'm not entirely certain how much that would help anyone. But regardless, that's where we end the chapter, and now let's go through the candidates in this chapter. So we have Ran, Mira, and Kyoka. Alright, honestly, I could see all three of them winning because, like, Ran, because, getting humbled, so if she's gonna get humbled, it would probably be for the best if she stays up in her power. And personally, for right now, I'm kind of suspecting that how we're gonna humble Ran is that she will win the election. She will figure out the Gods of Thunder's plot, but then when they fight the Gods of Thunder, there's gonna be a big mismatch of when it comes to opponents. So all of the chiefs are gonna get defeated. It's gonna be similar to like Avengers Assemble in season 1 when Avengers fought Cabal, but then during the fight, Cabal's members swapped opponents to a point they were like completely mismatched. Like you had Dracula going up against the two normal members of the Avengers. You had the Super Adaptoid fighting Falcon. You had Mordark fighting Thor. You had Broken Arm Hulk fighting what was his name? The Superman copycat Hyperion. I think it's Hyperion. Fighting Hyperion. You would have Captain America fighting Atuma or something. Whatever the guy who rules Atlantis whenever he steals the throne from Namor is. So like very clear mismatches. Like Iron Man was the only one who actually had like a good advantage in a fighting sense. Everyone else was in a disadvantage. So it's kind of a similar thing here where like you have all the physical combatants fighting against like you have all the physical combatants fighting against the ones that cannot really be overpowered. Like you have Tatara and Mira fighting Yunuki, uh, Yusuke. You have Jakun fighting Vivara. You have Tanka versus Shinoko. You have just horrible matchups because a lot of the gods of Thunder versus Chiefs basically come down to Chiefs having the better matchups than the gods have. So I could see something like Dynamo. I feel like would even better as other feed like one of those things where it's like you only won because of type advantages, no other reason. Proof and point, you're defeated. So that'd be kind of a good way to defeat Ram, but we have to wait and see on that side. I could see Kyoka losing here. I could see Kyoka winning here. Election only for her to get like a failing moment where she fails at her job because, legitimately speaking, what the hell does she plan to do? I mean, if she, no, regardless of how much she refuses to believe the gods, if she doesn't, if the gods do not get this deal and do not proceed to their plan with the whole the bombs in the human bombing things, then it's like, all right, we'll be going back into hiding. We were planning on going to hiding anyways. So all he did was just speed up the hiding process. Oh no, here he's gonna scream in our he's going to scream our ears off. Anyways, bye bye. See you after the. See you after the. Well, the ritual. See you after. So I don't really. So it's kind of like, well, that's what will Kyuka do, and I feel like it could be a very good character growth kind of thing if she does fail as a commander in chief, since like again, Kyoka doesn't really feel like a good candidate to be in charge of this type of organization. She feels like she'll have a lot of similar flaws as Tatara did. In all honesty, just like in a slightly different perspective. And then we have but I could still see her lose. But then we have Mira, who's kind of like the wild card. So she's like just enough on the let's get along with the Shukai to a point that it wouldn't really force the gods to go into hiding. But I could also, but like it is a bit. I'm very curious on where the whole coexistence with Shukai and the humans is gonna go, because like one way you could see it is that all the gods are just gonna go into Yuki's inner world, and then they're just gonna spend the rest of their lives in that dream world. Or you could go down the route of them all being returned to the come out of it in their new bodies, in their more powerful forms. But then after they get there, at that time they kind of stay around, be kind of friends or something. Again, we have to wait and see on how this whole thing unfolds. But Mia is like a good like middle ground between Kyoka and Ram, but is also her own kind of idealistic character. So we'll have to wait and see on how things unfold. As for full vote breakdown, the petitions are obviously going for Ran. Bell, Azu, and Tatara seem kind of like they lean towards Ran, but I could easily see like them being won over by someone else. Like I could see Mia winning over Azu. I could see Bell being won over by Kyoka. I could see Tatara be won over by either Kyoka or Mia, honestly. Valera and Tenka definitely going for Kyoka. So Fubuki is also like another one who I think will go for Kyoka. And yeah, and Bell kind of seems to be also concerned about the general perspective. So it does make you wonder on how this is gonna go, especially since like how is this gonna progress now where we kind of got the initial ideas all over the place, all out. Because I know this manga is meant to be fan service, but I really don't think this manga can just have like few dial character interactions with them just being naked half the time, regardless of how much fan service this is meant to be. But anyways, that's we've talked long enough about Chain Soldier. It's time we talk about Chainsaw Man. chapter 178, titled Gun Goddess. Ironic, this title has a goddess despite angels and all that not really being in the story in a traditional sense or biblical sense. So yeah, anyways, we start this chapter off with the Lady Liberty's cracks. As it's revealed, those cracks were actually from I'm guessing the gun goddess that's in this chapter, emerging from it, as the Americans are in shock over this, as the gun goddess pulls off a giant cannon gun thing as she shoots when Yuri says bang, as this thing shoots at Japan in the direction where the Chainsaw Man Devil is, and just obliterates like. This seems like one of those continental type of feats, honestly, where they're just going all the way to Japan, blowing several buildings, hitting Chainsaw Devil dead on, and causing just insane amount of damage, with Asa just taking over the body and looking at this in a complete terrified state, like, what have we just done? What has happened? As then we just have you laughing her ass up, like in a honestly kind of weird panel, because like the way, like I don't know why the arms that Asa and Yuro have right now kind of look small, like disproportional to their bodies, but whatever. The Chainsaw Man's art style has always been kind of a mixture of good and bad at the same time, but whatever. We have laughing as Asa thinks to herself, after all this time, I kind of forgot that Yor is a devil. So she wouldn't really care about stuff like this, the shock she caused. Which is, I'm not surprised by this, because it was like a couple of chapters ago, there was some commentary about like how demonic some people can become after they band with devils for far too long, and especially if they're like also living in the same body and sharing their bodies with the devil. So it's like someone like you also would probably be increasingly less and less human about like losing an arm and all that type of stuff. So it's kind of a thing here where you kind of forgot about like about all that horror that devils can cause and bring to the world, especially the stronger they are. And that, and probably the discussion about what am I gonna do with my. I really don't want to use my children as weapons, but they would be the most useful ways to deal with Chainsaw Devil. I should use them as weapons. So it's probably that is also making her. So probably those talks, but made her loosen some of her like, uh, you know, oh yeah, you was a devil kind of senses. So yeah. Anyways, then we cut away from Nasa's incidental crisis, as we see that how much damage it did to Chainsaw Man Devil, and oh boy, it did damage to him. Like, he's alive, but his arms and lower part of torso, like I don't even want to say legs, it does literally seem like lower part of his torso have been completely obliterated. Like, he is just laying on the floor with just with stumps for hands and upper part of his torso there. Be like, oh, what the fuck was that just hit me? So yeah, that was insane. Which, fair enough, I think some people on the in the Instagram Reddit actually like show the difference of power. Like, some people are like, oh, you pretends to be Makima, but then people are like, yes, because Yor is doing far more damage to Chainsaw Man than Markman did throughout the entire fight. So it's kind of a similar thing here. So yeah. As Chainsaw Man is laying there, we see the aging devil appearing. And if you remember what the contract with aging devil is, then you know how things are going back. As the aging devil first like, Chainsaw Man, don't worry, I will help you. Here, as he splits his wrist to have him bleed on Chainsaw Man, like, alright, Chainsaw Man, let me tell you how we're gonna do this. You'll first start eating my legs, then my arms, stain my torso and my head full asked. You see, the nature of the contract that I made with the humans states that if by every part of me you eat, a child gets killed. So let's do this in order. Basically, like what Baron said about you have is a process to eating stuff. So yeah, as while Aging Devil is saying this, we see a bunch of children being let in. As we see like two children who are, I guess, friends in high school. We see big brother carrying his infant little brother. We see some just walking, as you can tell. Those recently citizenized Japanese citizens, children, are now going to be in a lot of trouble when they realize what the soldiers are planning to do to them. So yeah, things are not good. Yeah, like as soon as the mouths were back, the call was back on, and they were like, I mean, like, go, go, go! We must not do anything to put ourselves in danger again by losing our mouths or something. So yeah, the process went quickly, and now the Aging Devil's contract is being put in effect. I don't know if Chainsaw Man being in this weekend set is gonna change the contract in any sense, but so far it seems like it it is continuing without any delay or anything. So we'll see what interruption is gonna happen, either that or the contract is gonna go through, and a bunch of children are gonna be dead, and a bunch of people who are pure scum are going to probably realize what they've been a part of and probably buff themselves to death. So yeah. Anyways, we have to wait and see how that is going to unfold as we go to some good old fashioned action with versus chapter 19, Demon King versus multiple because Yachi is a fucking beast. So anyways, we start this chapter with Yachi kind of questioning about, alright, what kind of power are you guys using? Because you're not using mana, but you're clearly doing some impressive feats. As Uki, I think, was this Mandalorian who's like using kind of a pushing ability, but Yachi's like, how did you do that previously? But then Yachi is just no diffing him. He's like up to him, oh! Is he kind of like sucking him in, but Uki gets hit by it, and like Yachi just beats him down a bit. But then Uki is like, oh shit. Oh, I thought I was going. These demons were not fine, but this demon's clearly beating me. This demon's clearly more powerful. I mean, it was toying with me in here weekend state, but now he's at full power, and I can't do shit. Oh my god, I have to escape. I have to warn everyone. This is like we have underestimated demons. As Uki runs away, but then Arch is just when he's full power, like, you're not running away, dude. We are ending this fight until I discover what the heck is up with you. As then Yachi just beats Uki down, and then Yachi starts to kind of do this kind of, I want to say, mimicking the fighting style of his opponent type of deal, where he's kind of like trying to mimic the fighting powers of the Mandalorians by, like just using pure force to do the damage that the Mandalorians did. So like, he's kind of mimicking the Mandalorian's like black hole techniques by sucking the air. So he was kind of sucking him, the Uki to him. But now he's like also like mimicking their fist power, their strength power by slamming into them and sending them both back. And while Uki is getting his ass beaten to ever blood in hell, we cut to the Celestials' homeworld, or Celestials' main ship, or base, or whatever you want to call it, as it's called some kind of HQ or something. As the Mandalorians basically kind of start to so I've been saying for a while now that I think the idea is supposed to be that all natural enemies are a danger to one another. It's just more of a which natural enemy is gonna be stronger in which location. So this part of the story, I think, is very much supposed to definitely prove that, because in this chapter we go through Mandarin's fat lab. Mandarin's going through all the enemies they've encountered, and they're very dismissive to a lot of them. Robots, what people have been hyping a lot very much. Mandalorians are like, no issue. Parasites, They can't get into our ecosystem, so they are useless. They are not even worth mentioning. Then we have neo-humans. Call themselves superior to humans, but they are nothing special unique. Honestly, I don't even know if we can classify them as different. And then we get into like the Mega Culture, the only thing that's actually been causing them damage. Actually, I think before that we also had the wildness mentioned, but regardless, we just go into. Let's go. It doesn't really matter in which order you go because they're sort of just going through their general ideas about every single natural anime. But anyways, let's go to the Mega Kaijo. They mentioned Mega Kaijo. We couldn't scratch it. We couldn't beat it. It destroyed one ship with ease, and we weren't even entirely certain then and what was going on as then which is the leader of the Netherlands talking about as then like another Netherlands revealed called Geloge, a leader of Team 5 as the team that was going it was in the previous arc with the that was like in the humans was actually Team 2 but this is Team 5. It's kind of like chastising leader of Team 5. I was like, oh, you lose our ship, that's a valuable resource that we lost because of you. Yeah, how do you plan on paying for that consequence? As Bavan, the leader of Team One, who I'm the Netherlands call themselves like a hive mind sort of deal, like they refer to it. We are a collective. If we don't blame one individual, we blame the collective. In fact, we don't. It shouldn't even be considered as a flaw because what we did was get valuable information about these mega kaijus. Now we can prepare ourselves to eliminate this mega kaiju. We can plan. We can decide how many of us are gonna take to feed this mega kaiju. And yeah, Bavan is just saying that, and Bavan I think is just like a. They seem to be in this communication. They seem to just be a bunch of orbs. So, but we don't seem like Gawan. I think Galoge seems to have like a bit of a bunch of eyes, but Bavai just seems to have like one giant eye shape. But well, we'll have better looks at them later. But yeah, so, anyways, then we have them just going back their process after like saying, "Oh, they'll deal with kaiju because they're actual threats," and then they go to the natural disaster world and they well the natural overflowing wildlife world, and they mentioned that a team that was sent there. We lost communications with them. We cannot assign a threat level because we have no idea how powerful they are. So yeah, which is first red flag here because like despite them, they don't really so yeah the wild so yeah again like some people will say oh wildlife isn't that dangerous, it's just gonna get slaughtered by the by the robots like it usually is, but here it's very much proven that yeah wildlife is quite interesting because of all things that's mentioned as a threat here, and the manlines go through like a bunch of them, not all of them, a bunch of them, and they mention like and Wolof can basically consider like the second one they were the most are a bit concerned about because they mentioned they lost communication with the other ones completely. I'm not sure if this means they were destroyed by wildlife or if this means that we're gonna see them later or whatever, but we need to say is they couldn't get information about wildlife, and there's something about them that's kind of raises the question like what are the beasts in those more dangerous forests? Remember the forest that was next to the lawless land, they were like, whatever you do not go into the Crimson Forest. Everything is better than the Crimson Forest. So it does make me kind of wonder if it went like into one of those forests that was like super dangerous. So yeah. Anyways, they go back to some other information like they mentioned lawless. They don't deserve to be viewed even different from the humans, so they're nothing special. So yeah, wonder about superpowers or whatever about the lawless, what they're gonna show up later or do later. Then we have them mentioning giants, how they are big and bulky and all, but they are really nothing special again. So yeah, which to be fair is kind of a mentality that we also have after the last chapters. Game back defeat. So no, not game back. I think no, I know. Actually, not game back. Like the tenth sound from the game back, but whatever. A game back appears later in the chapter, but for now, one of the them was defeated. So not thinking about them. I think, and then they mention go on to demons, where they say, "Oh yeah, they are different species than humans, but they are pretty much nothing. Like one was fighting a bit more against us, like those high level executives were fighting a bit better, but after some time we were just beating them down and wasting them. They were really nothing. They were just another trash like the humans, lawless, neo humans, like all of them. And as they are saying this and are saying them, they are no threat whatsoever. We cut to Yachi fighting Uki, and he is just demolishing him, just like copying Uki's fighting style, slamming him down. Like it's clear that like Yachi could probably have not even need to go into his full-fledged form. He could have just kept that power, the decreasing cape that he has, and he would have still had the advantage. He would have probably still been able to defeat Uki. So yeah, and Yachi just demolishes Uki down, showing that the yeah they are demons that can fight Mandalans and they can beat them down easily, which is a direct like I said, this is meant to definitely show that all natural enemies have advantages. Like yeah, first interactions with randoms are gonna be very beneficial to every natural enemy to help them their ego, but the closer and closer you go into the more powerful members of these natural enemies, the worse and worse and worse it's going to get for you. So the Mandalorians are right now in very big issue because like Uki was trying when he was running away, he wanted to get in contact with with his leader, but he wasn't able to because Archie was overwhelming him. So no, he's again. So no, critical lack of information is gonna be a big problem, especially if they go into like another or even more powerful Demon King's place and they get obliterated towards them. Like I could easily see Mandalorians now be like at some point a bunch of our teams was slaughtered when they went to demon territories and got defeated. But that's what we judged. What's going on? How are they able to fight and back and all that? So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see on that front. But this definitely supposed to show how much there was like very huge gaps in between how much not every member of this race is equipped to every single is gonna be as much of a non-issue as some other ones. Are gonna be combat executives are weaker than Mandalorians by a lot, and Mandalorians seem to be weak. Well, I mean, we don't know if the team leaders are stronger than the regular members, but we can at least assume they are. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of shown to be a similar level of power, but who knows? I mean, like Mandalorian's team leaders are stronger than the regular ones, but regardless, in fact, I'm pretty sure they are gonna be a little bit stronger than the regular members of their teams, but whatever. We see that Josh is overwhelming a regular member of Mandalorians pretty damn easily. And anyways, after he does what he assumes is a finishing blow against this Mandalorian, he's like, kind of processing information, huh? Some of these enemies we can deal very quickly, but some enemies can actually, give us a decent damage, decent fight. This is gonna be a bit of an issue to take care of, but we should be able to deal with it. We'll have to think carefully. But anyways, I'm actually kind of excited now. We'll be able to fight some equals here. But anyways, as y'all just kind of thinking about this, then he has the Uki then goes into his space plate bronze, which is I guess supposed to be his stronger form, to go into a battle against Yachi. But unfortunately, to bronze, he gets immediately one shot at by Gimbak, the chief of the Titans, as he slams no easel effortlessly into the Mandalorian, being like, not this one, and just completely destroys himself some way, kind of confirming that, yeah, if the Sun was kind of supporting, we're gonna now see what the strongest, or I think Gimbak is supposed to be the strongest member of the Giants, has to offer, as he's like, you killed my boy, didn't you? As Gimbak, who is like staring down at Yachi, and Yachi can tell just by looking at him, alright, this is gonna be a real fight. As Yachi is preparing himself to fight Gimbak. So we'll see how this fight goes. I'm kind of worried for Yachi because I feel like this is gonna be Gimba kind of beating the shit out of Yachi, but we're gonna have to wait and see how the fight is gonna unfold. But I kind of feel like Yachi's gonna get his ass kicked right now. I mean, so far he's been pretty much demolishing all the giants and all the Mandalorians, but right now I think it's gonna be that changed. I'm kind of wonder. I'm really curious to see how Yachi is gonna fight this. Is he gonna die? Is he going to escape? I really hope that he stays a bit longer for the story, since I think he is a very interesting and fun character to have. But anyways, we're gonna have to wait and see on that side, and we end this chapter here with Yachi versus Gimbek tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, next month. So yeah. Anyways, with the penultimate chapter out of the way, it's time we go to the final chapter of the week with Ruri Dragon, chapter 21, titled "Nothing Wrong with Some Venom." Assuming that the Venom doesn't get stronger, of course, but whatever. So, anyways, we start this chapter off with the basic plan of the last chapter, with them saying that we're gonna kind of embarrass them a little bit and make them feel uncomfortable about the fact they're making fun of Yuri's horns by breaking your horns off and uh, all that. And Rui is first kind of questioning if she really wants to do this, but then decide to go along with it since my mind, I believe, is very much like he says that they should do it, it'll be fun, and Rui kind of wants to help there being their little friendship here, so she wants to go with it, even if she's kind of has it a little bit. But anyways, they are agreed to that as they we cut the present, as we have the students, like not just Maida, we also have like all of the other students that kind of helping and they're ripping the horns off. They're like, alright, oh my god, this left horn is actually a lot harder than the first one. I mean, the first one was hard as well, but Jesus Christ, this is hard. As they're like, oh, it hurts my neck. It hurts. Can someone help? As they're like, hold Yuri's hand. It's gonna be so she doesn't shake so much from pain. Alright, hold still. As they are trying to, as then they scream at Kamata, one of the girls that's been making fun of Ruri. As like, come on, come and help us. Wait, why are you even attacking? What the heck is going on here? So yeah, they're all kind of going, but eventually she realizes she comes helping rip Rory's horns off with it's too fucking hard. As they're like, Lefty is too strong. Someone help with the Lefty. As then they just give up halfway because like Lefty is really hard to rip off apparently. We'll get into that later, but whatever. The Lefty is really hard to break, so they're kind of alright, let's take a meal with anyone. I think we should have damaged it enough to the point we'll be able to rip it off next in a couple of seconds, but right now we have to take a break. Ooh. As then Kamata, when she's taking a breather, is like, is this about calling creepy and trying to keep them away? Is this why we are trying to rip her horns off and all that? Because this is really not reasonable and logical and all that type of stuff. As then we go into a little speech about this, like whole bullying thing about that. Like, no, we have no issue with you. We are not just getting kind of into ripping the horn off, and I mean, we understand why you would be kind of has that, but speaking how you hate the horn behind your back is kind of like the issue. So would you please say that in front of me? Like, I mean, I understand. I mean, I've been on the same page. I'm ripping the horns off as well as just behind the back. And then Kamata also kind of insults Kamata there, where she's like, "Oh, but if you prefer being behind the scenes and just insult people behind your back, then you can be that type of loser." So yeah, there's like a little kind of interaction. Kind of seems like they're going on friendlier terms here. But yeah. Anyways, then the kid who cannot speak much enters with like the more heavier duty chompers or whatever they're called to rip the horn off as well as. I gotta know how this interaction. The guy went to the professor. I think it's one of those professors. The professor that is supposed to deal with Yuri's dragonification or help you with her dragonification. And did he like? Did he say that question? It's like, wait, you gonna rip Bruce's horns off? All right. Here's the thing. Like, you would think they'll. I mean, I don't know about you people, but I feel like it would be better if you rip horns off with a medical profession involved. Like at least go tell him to go get the nurse's office to make sure that nothing leaks out or something that should be not dangerous. But anyways, he brings those hard clippers. They put on the lefty, and they start ripping it. And they do successfully rip the fucking horn off and make Roy fall. As then they're like, yay, lefty went out. But then teachers showed up because they were making all that noise. As then they saw a bunch of students on the floor, worry on a painting that was being ruined, and now her clothing is ruined as well. As then they see a broken horn, broken horn in one of those claws, as well as in his hat. And as you could probably expect, they got a punish and had to stay in and probably stay longer to clean the whole thing up and deal with everything. So yeah, they got a little bit of a trouble because of that, but whatever. Anyways, then we got to the end of the day, and after they were dealing with their trouble, so they went. So Maida and Rui were kind of heading home, as they as they were kind of like looking at the horns, being like, "Yeah, well, this is gonna be a memento of this whole thing," which is really kind of creepy out because the fact that she has whole her horns are now being ripped out. She's holding her now. They're kind of like baby teeth at this point when you kind of look at it from a perspective, but whatever. But in case you're wondering, what about mom? Like, when she kind of reacted, she sees her daughter's broken horns. Well, luckily we caught a bit back before they were doing the whole, hey, I'm ripping Rudy's horns. Does anyone want to help me rip those horns off? She they revealed that they actually did call her and ask her about if they can rip their horns off, and Rui's mom at least doesn't seem to be concerned about it. Be like, oh yeah, we were actually planning on ripping them off at the start, but then she kind of liked them, or they were kind of not much of an issue, so we just decided to keep them in. Like, you can rip them off like all you want. Actually, I do like the prank you're doing with those two girls, those minis. Yeah, do that. I'm cool with it. I am kind of wondering if there's gonna be any side effects due to ripping the horns off. Like, are the next horns gonna be a lot stronger, a lot sharper? Actually, I can actually see this. Like, next time Rui wakes up, she has like pure blue, dark blue horns, or even diamond like horns, and they're like super sharp. Like, these ones just were like regular horns. The next ones are gonna be like knives, basically. And then when they're ending their little flashback to that, they actually it really does have a bit of a more mature view on this. Is like, it's not like I myself didn't have an issue with horns when they first grew. I mean, they did literally just grow overnight, so they'll probably grow back overnight as well. But it's just, I do understand the issue there and why they would be kind of worried about it. They're not in the wrong for being, worried about fucking horns on my eye, which is something they did point out. Like, man, did state to the girls that really does take care to make sure that their horns are not in danger of everyone. So it's like, it's fine. And so it's kind of unnecessary to be super judgmental of someone who is taking active precaution to keep their horns from hurting anyone. Although again, I'm not entirely certain if it was a good idea to immediately like rip a piece of a dragon and hoping that nothing thing is going to do. Especially considering the fact that Rui's track record when it comes to her dragon powers is usually hospital. Like, literally, I literally joke about it, but it's very literal that Rui, whenever she uses dragon power, she ends up in a hospital. So yeah. Anyways, then we also find out that Kamata and Mino actually were friends. Kind of similar friends as the pigtailed Gyaru one from Yuri's group, where they were like interacting a lot and talking, and kind of being chummy with one another. It's like one of those. It's kind of like Draco and Blaze from Harry Potter. Like, you kind of get the vibes those were kind of friends and hanging out and all that, but it's like you don't really have the best idea of, like, we wouldn't really say best fan or like the most regularly sought person. But anyways, she does mention they were usually with them, but anyways, she's always been like this, so it's now kind of whether she would make a big thing about Rui's horns. So yeah, they're kind of chill and both being feeling a bit more up about it. As then we end the chapter with Rui saying, well, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of a venom, which is roll credits, literally, because it's the final statement comment about in the chapter, and yeah. So I'm fine with how they kind of dealt with this, although I'm kind of finding it a bit funny how everyone was on board and how little the teachers and everyone was just kind of objecting to the fact that one of the students got their horns ripped. I mean, granted, it's not like they ripped the horns from the core. They ripped the horns from. They just broke them. In fact, Lefty, before they broke, like even before when they gave up at first, it was already cracked up king a bit. So like if they just put a little bit more effort, they would probably ripped it off a bit soon quickly. It's just those stronger ones were actually just making it faster, probably. So yeah, like we were still has a bit of horns. It's just like a lot shorter and more, kind of like off. Which I feel like it was just gonna be off when you touch it. Again, it makes me kind of wonder if the horns are just gonna grow back normal. If they're just gonna like pop out. Like you can kind of like when some thieves can just broken off, but then you have some thieves that can just like fall off fully. It makes me kind of wonder if they're just gonna fully be replaced with new ones or something. I don't know. I feel those are consequences for another day. And then we kind of wonder if there are gonna be other dragon traits that are gonna manifest in Nuri's body as well. I'm sure it's the pupils and the horns, but would this damage to the horn also spurt some other genetics to spurt? I mean, they were joking about wings being grow on Yuri, so is Yuri going to develop wings? Well, isn't that gonna make it awkward for boss and all that type of stuff? But well, whatever. We'll be dealing with the consequences of that. What could be a possible consequence later. But yeah, anyways, that's the end of the chapters I've read for this week. I hope you leave the thoughts on these chapters in the comments below, as well as any other manga series chapters that you've read. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.